Whenever you're ready.
Did you know chocolate can save your life?
No.
Hi, I'm Kelly Peters, and today I'm going to tell you how chocolate, eaten in moderation, can save your life. I will be discussing its benefits on the brain, how it lowers blood pressure, and how it protects the heart from cardiovascular diseases. Although chocolate has benefits, we first need to touch on some negative aspects. The negative aspects from overconsumption include weight gain and overprocessed sugars. Let's be honest, who likes chocolate?
Oh, I do.
Most of us like chocolate. I especially like it. Chocolate cupcakes, chocolate chip cookies, chocolate icing, I love it all. But the problem is in a lot of candy bars now, there's a whole bunch of extra overprocessed sugars. And for people like myself who have a sweet tooth, you kind of don't think about it and you just keep eating them. So one way to kind of curb the consumption of the unhealthy chocolate is to try fruit dipped in chocolate. So chocolate covered strawberries, chocolate covered bananas. My favorite is chocolate covered grapes. I know it sounds really weird, but they are so good. And this also is beneficial because you introduce the natural sugars into your body from the fruit instead of the more harmful overprocessed sugars from the candy bars. And as long as you remain aware of these negatives and kind of keep them monitored, you can see the benefits. One place you can see the benefits is the brain. Personally, I believe the brain is the most important thing in your body. It tells your heart to beat, it tells it how fast to beat, it's telling me to move my hand, it's super important. So you want to protect that, right? According to an article entitled Chocolate, Pros and Cons of the Sweet Treat, published by Harvard Women's Health Watch, consuming chocolate in appropriate amounts can increase blood flow to the brain. This increase is due to the fact that the chocolate causes your blood vessels to actually relax. So as they relax, they open up. And this, in turn, gives you higher oxygen levels in your brain. And when your brain has more oxygen, it functions more efficiently, you have more energy, and you have a heightened mood. So most people, when their vessels are relaxed, they're really happy, they're excited to do things, compared to someone who may be stressed or not eating a lot of chocolate, their vessels are really small, they might have headaches, they might be really irritable. And if your brain isn't functioning properly, then it can't tell your heart how fast or slow to pump the blood. This can lead to high blood pressure problems. Before we can talk about blood pressure, we need to understand what the numbers in a blood pressure reading mean. According to the American Heart Association, in their article, Understanding Blood Pressure Readings, the systolic number, or the top number, measures the pressure in the arteries when the heart beats. So when your heart's contracting, that's what your systolic number is. So it's normally a higher number, and when you get a reading, it's normally on the top. And the diastolic number, or the bottom number, measures the pressure in the arteries between heartbeats when your heart is refilling with blood. So your systolic is when your heart tightens up and shoots the blood through your body, and your diastolic is when your heart opens back up and refills with blood. So for example, if your reading's 120/80, so it's in the normal range, 120 is your systolic number, and 80 would be your diastolic number. Now, say you weren't really eating too healthy, or you're really, really stressed out, you might have a reading of, let's say, 125/82. So you had a pretty high increase systolic and just a little increase in your diastolic. That would put you in the pre-hypertension stage. And this can be scary sometimes because you don't really notice the side effects of when you're starting to get into hypertension stage 1 or hypertension stage 2. And according to the article, High Blood Pressure Symptoms, published by DrEd.com, the symptoms can include chest pain, vision problems, tiredness, headaches, nausea or vomiting, and pale skin color. These can go unnoticed because, personally, I didn't sleep that much last night. I'm tired. I know that's what it's from, but sometimes you could go weeks or months of just being tired and you don't know why until you go to the doctor and the doctor goes, whoa, you're 145/90. And you're sitting there going, okay, doc, that's cool. I don't know what these numbers mean. And in reality, you're in hypertension stage 1. And I've personally been there. It's super scary because you're like, well, what do I do? Is my heart going to fall out tomorrow? What happens from here? And a lot of these are easily overlooked because we experience them all the time. Some of the reasons why you have to monitor your blood pressure is because when the pressure rises too high, it damages the heart and the blood vessels. So because your heart's constricting so fast to try to push it out, which is what causes the systolic number to go up, or your vessels are trying to expand to let blood flow easier, this expansion causes them to be overstretched. And over time, as your heart and your vessels overstretch, they don't work correctly. And this damage can lead to cardiovascular diseases, multiple expensive surgeries, and shorter lifespans. So what would happen is, this is how your blood flows throughout your body. So if your blood pressure is too high and the overstretching is happening, this nice space keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it's so big that the muscles have too hard of a time trying to contract to keep going. The same thing would happen with your heart. It would just stretch out, stretch out, stretch out, trying to overcompensate for what's happening. Heart attacks are one type of cardiovascular disease that can be caused by high blood pressure. So heart attacks occur in the hypertensive crisis stage of blood pressure. So when you're down here in this really, really dark red, so your systolic number is higher than 180 and your diastolic number is higher than 110. This occurs when your systolic's too high or your diastolic's too high. Sometimes you could have a really, really high systolic and your diastolic could just be like, it might not be higher than 110, it might be like 100. But if either number is higher than what it should be, you're in trouble. These increased pressures, if untreated, can be fatal. Because we worry about our health and blood pressure, many Americans try to eat healthier and exercise more. But some people don't know that adding small amounts of chocolate will do the trick. According to Anthony Komaroff in his article, Ask a Doctor, I'm a fan of dark chocolate, he states that chocolate, particularly dark chocolate, contains flavonols, and these help to lower blood pressure. By helping to lower your blood pressure, it helps protect your heart from the cardiovascular diseases. So when your pressure's at a more normal level, your heart and your vessels aren't stretching out so much to try to overcompensate. And this is a necessary cause because it's how you keep your heart healthy. It's how you keep the blood flowing at the right pace. You get all the blood and oxygen up to your brain. Like, it's super important that your blood pressure is under control. Otherwise, it's going to lead to many other health problems. According to Adam Bible's article, Chocoholics Have Healthier Hearts, published in Men's Health in 2015, men who ate small amounts each day exhibited an 11% lower risk of heart disease and a 25% lower risk of death from any kind of cardiovascular problem. So, just by adding small amounts of chocolate to their diet a couple times a week, they lowered their risk of heart disease, and they got a good treat. So that's always a plus. Overall, chocolate proves beneficial to the body due to its effects on the brain, lowering blood pressure, and protecting the heart from cardiovascular diseases. This is great because it has fewer side effects than most medicines. While they still need to be monitored, you can enjoy small amounts of chocolate. So remember, buy a chocolate bar once in a while because it can save your life.